YouTube time. I'm multitasking with videos here today, and I wanted to help all you guys out to not make a mess. And if you want to pull this ram all the way out, you got to wiggle it, but it's not really necessary to replace those rear seals. That thing's in there, it's sealed, and it'll be a little rough because the fluid's out of it, getting it back, just so you know. But this is what you're going to have to do and have to have. Besides I have a really big funnel, and that's hydraulic fluid. I use that pan with that piece of metal to sit the pan right there. Okay. The way you do this, you pull this handle all the way back, disconnect this right here. This comes, don't try to disconnect it back here. I'm actually going to paint the cylinder. I'm hoping to take that apart. That's why I did that. But if not, I'm just going to leave it together and it's just going to get painted the way it is. Okay. This is a very old 1999 Husky log splitter with a new engine and a new pump. And the reason why is because the cylinder leaked. And I was using it that way. I put a little sealer in there. You see, I'm sharp. I have some tricks. But that those temporary fixes in a bottle, they only last so long. So you disconnect it here, okay, right there. And you can also disconnect this. And I had this disconnected with the clamp simply to raise it up, but I stretched it enough in the sun. It was colder this morning when I started, okay. So when this line is disconnected, and this is all the way back like this, it's relieved, and you tap on that, you're going to be able to get that ring out. But if you don't relieve that pressure, okay, because these guys are making a mess, they're using, I used the hydraulic pressure. I ran the machine even after I had it disconnected, and it pushed everything beautifully apart. I got that right out of there, okay, after the ring was out and separated, and it just came apart, okay. And I didn't make a mess. That's the only oil I spilled, and that was because I tripped over the air hose. Okay, that's going to get to this part. Okay, this was what they call it in the military. We call it bugling, bulging, whatever, from this ram with the bolt and the head. It sort of stretches this metal. It concaves it. Not to mention the shaft wears a little. Okay, so everything, it came all the way out here. Okay, get it from all the way back. Beautiful, and it got stuck. Then I had to get my air chisel out. And that's these marks from the back side. See those marks? Okay, I'll put it here in the sun. I don't know if it shows up better there or there. Okay, I had to force it off of there. It's bugled. Okay, but you can service this machine and change the seals. And as I'm going to do, I'm going to paint this up real nice. Somebody tried dumping a little paint on it from years ago, and they did a halfway job. It probably rained on their project. We got some pitting in the metal. We'll take care of that. I'll acid dip it a little bit, and we'll paint it, okay? These log splitters, these 99 Husky, okay? I want you to listen to my voice here. I'm going to set you on the thing here, and I don't know if you... I'll just let you look at the log splitter. I don't have to be in this video, okay? You know your Pennsylvania Dutch uncle when he's on. But these older log splitters, these Huskies, I believe that's a 22. I believe they sold them a 22... either a 23 and a 25. I know there was a little bit bigger one than this, but this is adequate for everything that I do here. I split a lot of wood with this thing already, and it's real easy to use. Like I said, the old engine was tough. It was snapping. When you went to pull it, it would snap back. It'd almost break your fingers if it came back at you or whacked you. I never broke the motor down. I still have it. I don't even know if they have a compression release. I would assume when it did that. Why you want to service it and replace those seals and not let it leak all over, not to mention kills your grass and makes a big spot in your driveway or whatever. Look, I don't care about the ecology of it. You're going to burn up your pump, and as your pump burns up and it gets stiffer and stiffer, it's harder and harder to start the engine because it hardens the seals inside the pump, and the fluid's not passing through the pump, and it starts overheating, and it starts overheating the engine. And then things break. Okay. So you don't have to take this machine all apart. Now I'm going to take some things apart so I can get some paint on this and kind of preserve it. I'm going to wash it down, and that's why I'm making the video now. I am not finished with this grind. I'm going to grind on this till it's a little bit. I'm probably going to put a new disc on the thing, and I'm going to try to grind this down a little bit, because once it gets past this bugled area right here, it's fine to see. But you won't get it on with this being stretched and bugled with a new seal. It's just going to hang up and it's going to go nowhere. So it's up to me to machine this down a little bit by hand, okay, and get it to where it is. A lot of this stuff was never built with servicing it in mind. I know a lot of people, when it comes to this shit, they don't take this apart, because if you took this to a shop, they're taking it all apart, and they're going to have this part machined so they can put that back on without it tearing up the new seals. And so that's why people buy a new Ram. Simply, that's why they buy a new Ram, okay? You got to learn to tool things for yourself in this day and age with what things cost. And you know something? I don't like giving them little Chinese toads any more money of my American dinero than I want to give them, okay? So I learned to take things apart, and I learned to fix them. Not to mention, you know, I have these old trucks, and I love my old trucks. I don't want a new one that doesn't start and I don't know what's wrong with it. I got to have some guru with a computer come tell me. Okay? Yeah, Chuck, I know it's getting to be dinner time, okay? I'm not done with this yet. So, yeah, I was out here since early this morning. I made 2 other videos. I addressed our president because I'm thinking he's being a very brainless bastard with what he's doing and not insulating the seniors, the veterans, and disabled people. I just said I paid $5 for a box of Captain Crunch. I thought he was a good guy. He turned into a real goddamn pirate overnight. I mean, this shit's ridiculous what we're going through. So learn to work on things. You don't have to disconnect anything else other than that. Okay? And that's just to raise this up. And then if you break this and push this, if you break that coupling, okay, this is what turns. This doesn't turn. You just hold this with a wrench. Okay, it's a JIC fitting. Okay, and then this right here. See that? Push that all the way back. And when you hammer it, you're going to have fluid fly out of there. Don't panic, okay? The fluid's going to fly out of there. Just don't panic, okay? It's a very simple, basic job. It's not that simple, though, when that thing's bugled on the end the way it is. It's frustrating me, but I've been through this. I was an A&P at a Navy aircraft carrier, and sometimes servicing the landing gear when there were no other parts, we had the same thing, where it comes down into contacts, the bolts and stuff, and there's a lot of stress there. It bugles it out, and not to mention the shaft wears a little bit, but that shaft's not worn all that bad. What fails on these is this front seal right here. That black thing right there, that's a seal. And this is getting a little ridiculous here too. That's not all that good. Okay, when you put it back together, don't use axle grease. Axle grease contaminates. It makes your hydraulic fluid, even motor oil, it makes it more acidic. It's all right on a car because you can change the oil. You can actually change the oils on these, but it's very expensive. It's about $100 to change the oil. I think this thing holds 3 or 4 gallons. Okay, just so you know what I'm telling you. All right, just use Vaseline, because if you don't, it makes the oil acidic, and that is it's going to hurt your seals. Okay, just so you know. Don't use axle grease. Thanks.